The hip-hop industry just reached a jaw-dropping twist. Imagine this: Jen Jones, fresh off his spectacular cocaine deal arrest, is behind prison. And now whispers are flying that Camron Harm's own Pink Panther might be next under the examination. Yup, you heard that right. Camron under investigation. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran wild throughout social feeds as rumors turned into full-blown headlines. Camron's name emerges in seal court docs. Dips its empire. Startled lawyer. Fear caught on camera. Might this be an instance of guilt by association? Or is there something deeper simmering in the shadows of Harlem's most iconic rap sources near to the Dipset inner circle? Alleged federal officials are going over old phone logs, financial records, even private text connections, all in pursuit of the smoking gun family was left divided. Some insisting Camron is innocent, others saying that he's been hiding things for years. And let's not forget the personal stakes. Cam's reputation, the future of Dipset, and the fortunes of everyone tied to the dynasty. The fight is real. The drama is high, and one question looms greater than ever: is Dipset experiencing its darkest hour? Yet cling on to your seats. This narrative is only just begun. Hold on to your seats. The courtroom doors slid open again, and Camron stepped through with a heavy heart. Whispers followed him down the marbled corridor. Shadows of doubt followed every stride. He was surrounded by his lawyers. Marcus Reed, whose face was steely. Exhausted reports indicate Reed had spent the full night sifting through evidence, prepared for a day that might determine Cam's legacy. As they neared the seat, cameras clicked in rapid-fire succession. Yet Cam refused to face their gaze. Instead, he fixated on the shiny floor tiles, as if planning out a way to safety that might not exist inside the stifling courtroom. The judge's gavel dropped, echoing like a faraway warning. The prosecution turned to a fresh piece of video security film from a warehouse. On the outskirts of the city, in the grainy black and white clip, a figure resembling Cam went among stacks of boxes, chatting in hushed tones with a gnome colleague of Jim Jones. The audio cracked, and a jury member moved forward. Eyebrows knitted. "We have testimony that on March 12th, Mr. Carter met with Mr. Jones, Lieutenant, the prosecutor, in tone. Using Cam's true name, they discussed delivery logistics and profit splits." The room held its breath. Jamal, a Dipset road manager, sat in the gallery, heart racing. He had pledged to defend the group's reputation. Yet he felt powerless. He glanced at his phone. Social media feeds exploded with Cam tied to the drug ring headlines. Fans were surprised, their trust tested. Before that morning, Jamal had tweeted, "Dipset till we die." But now he considered deleting it. What if the words they composed about loyalty and brotherhood rang hollow? The family was left divided, some pushing for an immediate public announcement. Others urged silence until the truth revealed. In a neighboring studio, Jadaku's paced like a caged lion. He had flown in from love for support. Just to be stunned by the warehouse footage? That's bullshit, he murmured. Replaying the video on his phone, Cam was there, scouting beats, not counting bricks. His producer, Tone, placed a soothing hand on his shoulder. "We'll get to the bottom of this," Tone assured while his voice quivered. Jataku's nodded, but inside, doubt gnawed at him. He remembered the happy times, late-night ciphers in Basement, the fragrance of new ink on recording contracts. The unshakable relationship created amid adversity. Suddenly, those recollections seemed like smoke in the breeze. Back at the courthouse entrance, a throng of press and demonstrators. Suddenly, a group brandishing "free" camera posters squared off against a smaller, more frenzied crowd, claiming, "No one is above the law." Chants flooded the air, and sirens wailed in the distance. A teenage fan, Riley, shouted, tears in her voice, "He's innocent, I guarantee it." Across the street, a spectator photographed Dipset is dead gravity on a brick wall. The scene appeared like a battle zone, not the origin of some of hip-hop's most legendary. Tune's emotions ran high, and each camera angle showed a new view of the tumult down, deep in the bowels of the Fifield field office. Agents sat around a conference table, covered with documents. They traced phone conversations, bank payments, and email. Headers piecing together what they hoped would be an airtight case. One seasoned agent, Rachel, pointed to a ledger recording a series of cash withdrawals timed precisely with Jim Jones's shipments. 2 entries featured Cam's initials and sloppy handwriting. "That's suspicious," she remarked her companion. Mark frowned. "But we need more than initials." Rachel nodded, pressing her pen-damp subpoena to every transaction that fits his established patterns. The grind of paperwork and legal motions echoed the strain. Developing. On the streets, as the afternoon light dipped low, a fresh twist erupted. Cam's defense team developed a text conversation chain, proving that the initials were a coded reference to Curtis, a nickname for a childhood friend, not Cam the prosecution's. Chief Investigator Agent Hughes combed when he read the disclosure. The courtroom gasped. The judge paused, adjusting his spectacles to clarify what he had heard for a moment. It seemed like Cam might have caught a break, the strain in his shoulders. Relaxed somewhat, only to be replaced by lingering worry would this be enough to clear his name, or only a temporary relief outside. Meanwhile, the rumor mill churned faster. Late-night talk shows seized on the text bomb show, speculating extensively. About Cam's involvement, one host, Blair, did Cam get away with it, while another retorted, "Or is this just a diversion?" Fans fired back and forth online statements of support, mingling with calls for responsibility. The public square had become a digital Coliseum, and Cam was at its heart. He watched it all happen, from the sidelines, heart-heavy with guilt that his name had ever come in the same breath as illicit dealings at home. Cam's family battled with the impact his younger sister Kiara refused to, left her bedroom eyes red from crying. Their mother Donna sewed together care packages for him, packing homemade lunches and a handwritten letter reminding him of the value of family. They can't remove your spirit. She wrote, "Remember who you are." Yet even her persistent optimism had fractures. She left her window ajar that morning, waiting for police sirens that would herald the worst. Each faraway wail sent her heart rushing in a dramatic contrast. Jim Jones sat in his cell laughing at the news word had reached him that Cam's name was splattered across headlines. He tapped a finger on the bars. "Amuse Dipset's heritage ends with you, Cam," he mumbled to himself, even behind bars. Jones wielded influence, stirring the pot, his legal counsel. Dawn visited with him over a glass wall. She brought news of the text message bombshell. Jones chuckled softly. "Let them fight over crumbs," he said, voice cold. "I'll be out soon, and when I am, I'll regain what's mine." His plot to weaken Cam and gain control of Dipset had succeeded beyond his worst aspirations. Meanwhile, Jules Santana remained a wild card. He had stayed out of the storm publicly, but insiders report he met privately with Cam one night, sharing encouragement and insider intel. "We'll weather anything," Jules told him. "Just stick to the truth." Cam nodded, grateful, but weary. Their friendship, built by common difficulties, has never been more crucial. But Jules himself faced investigation. Some suspected he was negotiating his position with federal prosecutors, providing evidence in exchange for leniency. Betrayal loomed around every corner. The city buzzed as night fell, the brilliant lights of Harlem's clubs and studios contrasting with the somber headlines dominating news feeds. Dipset's empire, once founded on unity and swagger, now teetered on the brink. Loyalties were. The rumors went rampant, and every new development felt like another blow. For Camron, the battle was not just about clearing his reputation, it was also protecting a legacy. As he prepared to return to that courtroom the next morning, he knew he couldn't do it alone. The fate of Dipset, and perhaps his own future, rested on the decisions he made in the days ahead. Section 1 finishes with Cam looking at the courtroom ceiling, quietly vowing to fight back. He clutched his lawyer's hand and muttered, "I won't let them steal everything from me." The echo of his promise lingered in the air, setting the stage for the next chapter in a saga that had only just began the instant Camron spoke those words. Fresh determination poured over him like steel. He had experienced dread, but now he was ready to strike back without warning. The courtroom door flung open again, and then ex-witness was called. A former Dipset roadie named Marcus Smooth Davis smooth-moved to the stand, eyes darting, sweat beeping at his hairline. He cleared his throat. "I carried thousands of goods for Jim Jones," he began, voice cracking, "yet I never saw Camron touch a single one." The prosecution pounced. Sir Davis, can you explain why your logs show a drop-off near Camron's studio, smooth swallowed? I was doing my job. The drop-offs were by Gia's, not by person, murmurs rippled through the courtroom. Camron breathed slowly, a gleam of hope in his eyes. Outside the media circus had escalated. A live transmission from a famous hip-hop news channel cut to an anchor, Jade, who leaned toward the camera. Fans are astonished as Slick's testimony raises more inquiries than replies. Is this proof of a frame-up, her co-host? Trey nodded vigorously. We're seeing passions run strong online. Freemon, trending once anew. But so are demands for responsibility once the show concluded. Comments flooded in, some complimented Slick Scourge, some branded him a liar. Social media had become a battlefield, with every fresh post fueling the flames of public opinion. Meanwhile, Camron's legal team capitalized on Slick's testimony. Attorney Marcus Reed provided a fierce response voice. Solid, we have completely zero proof placing Mr. Carter at any criminal enterprise. Anything we've seen is hearsay, supposition, and circumstantial. At best, he pointed to a stack of studio timestamps. Camron was recording vocals for his forthcoming album at the exact hours in question. We have producers, engineers, and timestamp files, Stowe. Show it behind him. Cam nodded, relief flooding across his face. The courtroom buzzed. Some jurors muttered among themselves while others scrolled notes feverishly. Later that day, Jules Santana sneaked into court in a hooded jacket, sunglasses obscuring his expression as he got the stand. The prosecution interrogated him about his loyalties. Mr. Santana, have you ever witnessed Camron involved in illicit operations? Jules squirmed uncomfortably. After a long period, he said, I've seen Cam active in music art business, but never in anything shady. We grew up together. He's always been about the culture, not crime. The courtroom erupted. Spectators outside cheered. Jules's name, their support reignited. Emotions raced high as flashbolts popped, capturing every moment of Jules's defense. Yet just when it appeared Camron might cleared his reputation, a private investigator for the defense, Lindsay Cole, disclosed a twist. She had unearthed CCTV footage from a premium vehicle shop where Camron met with the same Jim Jones lieutenant weeks prior. The arrest, the prosecution gasped when she aired the film. Camron and the lieutenant moved side by side, voices low, sharing what seemed like an envelope. Lindsay's voice was calm as she explained. Further analysis shows the parcel included promotional flyers for an upcoming humanitarian event, not cash or contraband. She brought up the genuine flyer emblazing with charity logos and event dates. The prosecution grimaced, but doubt had been reintroduced. Meanwhile, deep in the Fez Mobile Command Center stationed across the street, Special Agent Rachel Furrow scanned a map of PhonePez. She tapped a place where Camron's phone and a known Jones Associates gadget had pins within seconds of each other, miles away. We can't ignore this, she stated to her partner Mark. It shows incredible synchronization if it wasn't. Deliberate. Mark scowled. But phones can be fooled or switched. I need convincing proof. Attaching the device to Cam. Rachel nodded, irritation etched on her face. The investigation had become a tie cliché between fact and fiction. In another corner of the city, Camron's grandmother arranged a little prayer ritual at her brownstone. Friends and relatives gathered, candles shimmering in the chilly nighttime air. Kira grasped her brother's old baseball cap, tears glistening. We need indication, she said. Someone lit a sparkler, and for a while the flames danced like hope. Their mother Donna dropped a handful of rose petals into the breeze. The family was left divided. Some insisted on trusting the justice system. Others warned of corruption and plots. Yet in that group of light, they swore to stand united no matter the outcome. Back at the courthouse, Camron slumped in the hallway, tiredness heavy in his bones. A journalist approached, microphone extended. Cam, do you have any remark on the latest spying discovery? Cam shook his head slowly. I'm tired of rumors. I simply want to clear my name and get back to my life and my music. His voice quiver. The reporter persisted on. Are you concerned the feds will keep digging? Cam hesitated, then squared his shoulders. I'm not frightened. they'll discover nothing because I did nothing wrong with, so he turned and walked away, a single figure enveloped by the gray courthouse walls. The following morning, a smuggled document from the prosecution's files hit the internet, a series of emails between Camron's publicist and a Jones insider discussing a launch party for a joint single. They never released conspiracy theorists' pounce. Some thought the tune was code for a money drop. Others insisted it was a simple marketing gimmick gone bad as the paper circulated. Every news outlet tried to decipher its meaning. Cam's phone buzzed nonstop with messages fans texted, worry friends called loyalty. Wavering as the boundary between reality and hearsay blurred amid the pandemonium. Cam remained focused, he holed up in a secluded studio with his core staff. Jadakis Tome and Linz Cole to strategize. They played out different options from full exoneration to a plea. Jadakis smashed his fist on the table. We can't let them win. We need a big statement. No games tone. Nodded. I'll organize a live stream. Cam can address fans directly. Linz warned we got to stick to facts. Any slip-up could backfire. Cam breathed deeply. I'll do it. I'll show them who I am. The plan took shape, but the stakes had never been higher outside. The sun sank over Harlem, painting the sky blood orange. Street murals of Dipset logos and prior album covers sparkled in the dusk. Despite the tumult, Wife rushed on break dancers, spinning on cardboard squares. Sellers hawked to miles while the faraway beat of late-night ciphers pulsed in alleyways. This was Camron's universe, and suddenly it felt like it was under siege. But as the lights of the city flickered on, a sense of resilience permeated the air. The community that constructed Dipset could also stand up for it. As Chapter 2 draws to a conclusion, a hush falls over the city's hip-hop pulse. Camron's live broadcast is going to begin in just hours. Every camera crew is poised, every fan on edge. The story could twist again, or it could cement the case for his innocence. The road from whispers to headlines had taken them here on the brink of truth or destruction, and with those final breaths of suspense, the stage is set for Part 3, where allegiance will be challenged, truths uncovered, and Dipset's fate hung by a thread. The livestream began with a quiet buzz of anticipation. Camron arrived on film seated against the backdrop of Heron Street art. His face was firm, yet worn shadows, under his eyes conveying the story of sleepless nights. He leaned forward, hands embraced, and addressed his supporters personally. I know rumors have ran wild, he began. Voice steady, I'm here to set the record straight. Thousands of comments slid past in real-time expressions of support, skepticism. Questions flying faster than he could read behind the scenes. Jadakus paced off camera, checking his watch every few seconds. Tone monitored the stream's technical charge, ensuring no malfunctions, while Lindsay Cole sat with the printed transcript of important parts, ready to intervene if needed at home. Cam's grandmother checked in on her old television set, praying each time Cam drew a breath. Hira watched from her room, holding a pillow, tears in her eyes but hope in her heart. Cam continued, detailing his alibi in full studio logs, producer affidavits, and timestamp video footage showing him producing songs during the purported drug drop dates. He recognized the misunderstanding over the warehouse footage, claiming that the meeting was for charity. Event logistics. He even showed the poster on camera, rotating it so viewers could read the fine print. This is real, he added quietly. This is what I was doing. Session. He stated he wanted to catch actual street chatter. She reported, his voice shaking. Linz urged for more, but Lee argued Jones never mentioned Cam by name. I feared it was nothing. Lee admitted till I heard that recording. Linz left with both hope and fear swirling back at Cam's grandmother's brownstone. A gloomy vigil lighted the front steps. Candles flashed against the towering murals of Harlem's skyline. Elderly neighbors, friends of Cam's family, whispered prayers and shook their heads. This has gone too far, one neighbor remarked, voice quivering. They're tearing apart a legacy. Donna Pam's mother clutched her grandson's childhood jacket, her tears staining the cloth. She refused to go until she heard from Cam himself. When his late-night call finally came, her relief was tremendous but short-lived. She listened gently as Cam's voice trembled. "They've dug up new dirt, Ma." And she could only reply, "We'll hang on, baby, we'll cling on amid this whirlwind of competitor music, collective recognized opportunity." Covertly, they distributed altered versions of the audio clip accompanied with tracks that mimic Dipset's trademark style. The tracks became popular overnight. Overwhelming streaming platforms and meme pages listening debated on the veracity and ethical implications. But the audio's reach was undeniable. Dipset's brand, founded on swagger and unity, was now exploited as clickbait. The rival collective's unidentified producer gloated in a private chat, "We got them precisely where we want them." The field of battle has spread beyond the courtroom to every headset and screen inside a smoky backroom of a downtown club. Jadakiss hosted a conference of close allies, Tone Tyrese, and a handful of trustworthy friends. The air was dense with cigarette smoke, and the thrum of distant bass. Chabakis leaned in, voice low but urgent. "We can't play defense forever. It's time for a counter-protest." He recommended making a documentary-style DVD showcasing Cam's charity actions, childhood videos, and honest interviews. With family members, "Let the world see the real him," he stated. Tyrese nodded while Tone pulled out his phone, already writing questions for interviews. The concept offered a glimpse of control amid a sea of chaos. But even as they plotted, suspicions hovered within their own ranks. A discreet rumor stated that Jules Santana, under pressure from the feds, had surreptitiously met with Agent Hughes to arrange a cooperation pact. No public statement affirmed it, but murmurs in the streets said Jules's commitment was faltering. A mysterious message emerged. On an unknown blog, loyalty's price recently went up. Jadakiss confronted Jules backstage at a charity concert. The anxiety intense. "Are you in this with Hughes or not?" he demanded. Jules's reaction was measured. "I'm here for Cam, but I'll do whatever." Kept tete. Alive, the uncertainty only intensified. The schism seats of the control room felt like ghosts of former achievements. He hit record and began an impassioned speech into the microphone. Not for a song, but for a message. "This isn't just about me, it's about an entire society. It's about truth over noise." His voice trembled with emotion as he recalled the highs and lows of his career, the relationships built in struggle, and the sting of betrayal. He poured his everything into the cassette, thinking it would offset the auditory bombshell and reach the hearts among those still on the fence. As Part 4 draws to a conclusion, the landscape of this story has altered once additional new evidence, both factual and manufactured, has appeared. Friendships have eroded and loyalties remain in question. Dipset's empire stands at a crossroads. On one path, unity and vindication; on the other, fragmentation and devastation. The next chapter promises to be even more explosive, as Camron prepares to present his documentary, Counter-Strike. While the feds preparing their next move, the stakes have never been higher, and the world watches, breath held for the pivotal moment that would define Harlem's most iconic rap ensemble. The days that followed seemed like a maelstrom of pressure and purpose. Mayron and his team launched their documentary, Counter-Strike, a raw 10-minute video detailing his experience from neighborhood ciphers to worldwide platforms, emphasizing times of struggle, success, and undeniable influence. Film showed him handing out turkeys during Thanksgiving drives, training young rappers at community centers, and performing benefit concerts for families in need. Spectators reacted swiftly. Some applauded the authenticity, others doubted its timing. Passions were high as viewers debated whether this was damage control or a real cry for understanding. Meanwhile, the fans secretly filed fresh motions. Agent Rachel Furrow secured a warrant to investigate Cam's social media ads for hidden patterns of communication related to Jones's network. At the same time, the prosecution prepared evidence. 63, a line of emails between Jones's lawyer and Ashel Corporation, tied to Cam's clothing brand. The emails reference shipments labeled merch that actually contained unmarked bundles. On the courtroom steps, reporters whispered that this could be the smoking gun they sought. Jules Santana found himself at a crossroads. The rumored rendezvous with the feds had been more than gossip. He had promised to collaborate. In exchange for immunity on amethyst weapons charge, his heart hammered as he weighed loyalty against self-preservation. Jadakus confronted him, again backstage at a sold-out event. Voices sparkle with tight, "You have my back." Jadakus reminded him. Jules's eyes fluttered with shame. "I'm trying to protect us all," he said, ambiguous, enough to keep optimism and mistrust equally alive at home. Cam's grandma lighted lights in every room. She recited old prayers she'd learnt as a child, attempting to safeguard her grandchild from the storm. His sister Kiara organized a social media flash mob, fans sharing childhood images of Cam with your Remember member Camron. The movement trended globally for hours, a demonstration of communal memory that momentarily moved the narrative back toward unity and nostalgia on the prosecution's side. Holly Yang introduced Exhibit 47 Bits, Redux, a forensic report proving the metadata on the clothing line shipments matched the contested time limits. She described how the package addresses, referring to the warehouse where Joan Enterprise had been based. Jurors exchanged looks as cameras caught excerpts of their emotions. It was a blow to Cam's journalistic narrative, implying the footage and testimonials can be diversions rather than exoneration. Inside the defense war room, Linz Cole identified a difference. The shell company's location was related to a mailbox service utilized by a renowned competitor rapper. She went to the judge's chambers with affidavit and bank statements demonstrating the location belonged to the rival, not to Cam's firm. The judge evaluated the records and agreed to strike Exhibit 63, pending further investigation. The prosecution's lead attorney slammed his fist on the desk, yelling beneath his breath, as Part 5 closes, the storm has reached a fever pitch. Exhibitions rise and fall, partnerships fray and mend, and the tale of Cameron's alleged involvement in Jim Jones's case unfolds like a high-stakes play. The courtroom stands on a good edge where truth and manipulation dance in the spotlight. Loyalties have been challenged, reputations caught in the crossfire, and dips. Its legacy lies in the balance with every discovery. The saga grows, richer, more complicated, and unquestionably captivating. The battle for Cameron's name and for the essence of Harlem's most legendary rap ensemble has never been more intense. You followed every twist, every leak file, and every act of loyalty and betrayal. Now tell us what you think is next. Do you feel Camron will clear his name once and for all, or has the damage been done? Share your theories in the comments below and make sure to like this video. If you're pulling for justice, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss part 6 of this epic tale, because in this story, anything may happen and you won't want to miss a single minute. Emotions ran high as followers typed, "We believe you," and provide them proof, an airrush of pixelated unity. Just as it looked, Cam may change public opinion back in his favor. The screen flickered, a notice showed up. Breaking news. The live stream paused, then turned to a split screen showing a live video of the courthouse entryway. Reporters hovered around a black sub from which stepped a tall person wearing a hoodie and sunglasses. The camera zoomed up on the license plate. It matched the one used by Jim Jones. Legal team Cam's face on stream palled. "What is that about?" he whispered. Going closer to the camera, the show cut back to Cam, but the harm was done. Social media exploded. Conspiracy theories and fresh charges surged. Had Jones's crew placed that card to make it look like Cam was engaging with Jones's lawyers in secret? Or was Cam's defense sending mixed signals? The border between truth and manipulation blurred. More, some supporters screamed, "Foul play, Jones is pulling strings from behind." Prison. Others suspected a new layer of deception. Is Cam hiding something again? Meanwhile, inside the courthouse, Cam's attorney, Marcus Reed, arrived to commotion. The black stuff was parked blatantly near the press area, gathering camera teams like Moe's. To a flaming, Reed rushed out and marched toward the truck, demanding answers. "Who allowed this?" He barked, voice echoing off the stone walls. An anxious boof approached and stammered, "I..." It was delivered as evidence from the prosecution. Reed's expression hardened. "They're planning props now," he shouted inside. He discovered a sealed envelope Designated exhibit, 47 bits holding surveillance logs of phone calls between Cam and an unknown number hours before the warehouse encounter. It looked the prosecution was doubling down back in the live stream studio. Cam took a big breath. "We're not done," he said, forcing calm. "I'm going back to court tomorrow and we'll fight this head on." He signed off, "Release more proof soon." Ending the webcast, the screen turned black, but the discussion continued. Hashtags altered from Sacher Freamaron to Exhibit 47B, igniting another flame of suspicion the next morning. Part 3 of this tale unfolded. Court reconvened with renewed intensity. The prosecution introduced its next witness, a tech specialist named Holly Yang, who testified about the phone logs in example 47 bits. She described how call metadata revealed that Cam's device pinged near the warehouse coordinates at exactly the dates in issue. The jury leaned in, absorbing each detail. Holly's reason was accurate frequency bands, cell towers timestamps calibrated to the second the courtroom was wrapped. Cam's allies exchanged worried glances. Jada, who seated behind him, said, "They're trying to drown us in data." Tone gripped Cam's shoulder in solidarity. Lindsay scanned through notes, eyes tightening. She raised her hand for a sidebar with Reed whispers passed between them. This exhibit may affect everything Reed understood. They had to oppose the methods. He wanted cross-examination, aiming to identify any faults in Holly's analysis beyond the news vehicles lined up bumper-to-bumper anchors, eager to pounce on every reaction. A mom from a local mosque stood among the journalists, asking prayer for justice. While a group of rappers held a peaceful protest half a block away, signs read, "Justice for Camron and truth will prevail." The air crackled with adrenaline. Everyone had taken a side, but deeper doubts loomed. Was this about justice or celebrity or power? Within the courtroom, Reed began cross-examination. He questioned Holly on the trustworthiness of phone pings, noting situations where devices were faked. He contested the presumption that only Cam's phone could have triggered the logs. "Could you check the device's SIM card belonged to Mr. Carter?" he asked. Holly hesitated, then admitted she had relied on metadata provided by the Phoebe, not direct SIM registration records. A murmur of surprise swept through the room. The judge banked his gavel, encouraging order. Yet the doubt was sound. Meantime, word circulated that Jill Santana had met privately with Agent Rachel from the FI Word had it. He promised to give insights into Dipset's internal dealings in exchange for leniency on an unrelated charge. Some saw it as treachery. Others considered it as strategic survival. Social media speculated wildly. Jules turned on Cam. Dipset's genuine snake disclosed the family was left divided once more, this time by doubts of loyalty among their own, amid the confusion and unexpected testimony arrival. A warehouse clerk named Luis Rodriguez called by the defense. He detailed the day of the purported drop-off in detail. "I noticed a black sub pull up," he says, but the driver never left the vehicle. They merely scanned codes in a clipbook, then left. Lewis pointed to a video fragment revealing the sub's mirror and partial plate, matching the one parked outside the courthouse. "No one got out," he repeated, and nothing was unloaded. The jury stared carefully, exchanging looks. For the first time, the defense had a concrete eyewitness challenge to the prosecution's narrative. Cam's relief was evident. He inhaled slowly, eyes gleaming. Judikis rubbed his shoulder as if to say, "We got this." But Lynn said, "This is one battle, not the war." She reminded them that the feds still housed more exhibits and that fresh surprises could emerge. Cam nodded, recognizing the truth that this match had many rounds left in the corridor after court. Reporters clamored for statements. Cam walked out upon the marble stairs, flanked by Reed and Jules Mix, thrust forward, cameras ablaze. He cleared his throat. "Today's testimony proved they're willing to alter evidence to fit their agenda," he responded. "Strongly, I'm innocent, and I'll continue to prove it." Sparks burst. As his words echoed, a cry of Cam Strong rose from supporters as doubters mumbled, "We'll see." The duality of belief and doubt mirrored the story itself. As Part 3 draws to a conclusion, the enormity of this drama becomes evident. It's not simply a legal conflict. It's a struggle for identity, heritage, and power in a business founded on image the players. Cam Jones, their allies and opponents have all staked their reputations. With each new exhibit and testimony, the stakes grow higher. Loyalties falter. Alliances shift. With every twist threatens to distort the narrative. The hip-hop world waits with eager breath, wondering whose side of history everyone will remember when the ultimate decision falls. The tension in the courtroom had scarcely eased when a fresh bombshell released an anonymous letter delivered to Camron's attorney. Under extreme confidentiality included a raw hewn audio clip reportedly taken during Jim Jones' initial arrest in the Shacky, recording a voice obviously resembling Jones. Insult someone off MICU. Think you're clean. Cam, we all got dirt on us. The clip cut abruptly, leaving quiet murmurs rippling across the defense squad. Tyrese wheeled in his chair, eyes wide. This is going to reignite everything, he mumbled. Camron fell back, jaw tight. Emotions ran strong as the specter of another round of accusations loomed outside the street, responded like kindling to a spark. Spontaneous crowds gathered around News Van, chanting both for and against Cam. Dipset for Riva battled with justice for Jim Jones in a chorus of allegiance and mistrust. On social media, the audio clip burst under Dipset crisis, trending quicker than any previous hashtag in the. Several influencers weighed in from temporary sets, some supporting with Cam's innocence, others stating he was a step away from humiliation. The family was left separated for a third time. Jadaku's postdata, mysterious tweet that reads, "Simply truth surfaced." While Jill Santana retweeted a positive message from an unknown account, meanwhile in a poorly illuminated by Safe Home agent Rachel Furrow listened carefully to the footage, her brow wrinkled. She paused it repeatedly, isolating extraneous noises. A distant siren, a muffled speech, a metallic clang. Her boyfriend Mark frowned as she replayed a segment where she believed another voice murmured, "Meet me at the brownstone." That could be a trap, Mark warned, if it's real. Rachel tapped her pen across her notebook. Or it could be the key we need to link Cam directly to Jones's network. The line between proof and manipulation blurred once more at the same time. Lynn Selly, Cam's investigator, ran over town to track down any sign of the recording's provenance. She went the off-the-book studio where Jim Jones had taped freestyles questioning engineers and interns. Most claimed ignorance until a wobbly intern named Lee admitted she'd spotted Jones with a rudimentary voice recorder during a late night.